Hello, fifth graders. This is a video on a quick tutorial on the pictochart.com site that Mrs. Lima has found for you to work on some simple infographic for your historical character research. So this site is really easy to use. I would just go through some quick instruction and show you a simple infographic and get you started so that you can play around with it when you come into the lab. So first thing you're going to do is click on login. You can actually go straight to login. You don't have to sign up because it works with your Morrison Google account. So when you click on login, it says connect with, just click on sign in with Google. And then you're going to type in your Morrison account. I'm going to use Benjamin's so that you can see what a new account creation process looks like. So I'm going to click sign in. It will ask you for permission to view your email address and basic profile info. Just go ahead and click accept. And with that, you'll be able to start creating your infographic. So on the bottom, there are these templates. So you can look at some of the ones they have already made. If you can click on it, then you will get to the one that says level up means that you have to pay for it. So we're not going to use that. You can click on some of the basic one on the top. But for this tutorial, I will actually create one from scratch. So I'm going to come to this one that has a blank template. I'm going to click create. And then we will get started. Okay, it begins with a tour. So go ahead and click on take a tour. You can see this again for when you log into the site on your own. First of all, this is a basic interface when you're actually working with a canvas. So this is what the middle part is what your infographic will look like. On the left is how you insert objects or text or lines, and on the top is how you make changes to your item. And then you can save, download, and preview and share over here. So the first tutorial they give you, and I will show you a live example of this, is that you can insert. This is for pictures. You can insert an icon by searching for it. In this case, they're searching for a coffee bean icon, and you can drag it in, change the color of your icon. Moving on to edit text, you click here to do different types of text, drag it in, and then you can type over it. Uploading image, again, is under using this icon here to upload. Then you can just drag a picture from your desktop to this space. However, with infographic, most what you want to use are icon and high contrast image. So you probably don't want to be dragging in a picture that you took with your camera anyway. So try to make use of the icons that they provide for you. Under image, just like with icons, there are also shapes and lines. You can drag these lines in. You can change the type and the shading, the solid dash, and all of that using the icons on the top. Your infographic is set up to be separated by blocks. And when I start creating it, you will see how the blocks is able to it's almost like a paragraph of an essay, so that you can easily move one block above another or delete a whole block altogether. Just a way for you to organize all the information you have on one page. And you can make use of background. This is the next tip. You can make use of the background, which is this icon here, to separate your visual paragraph. I don't think you'll be using charts, but you can also use the toolbox, go to charts. Apparently you can also insert maps and video, but we most likely won't be using chart on this assignment. And finally, the last tip is for you to save using the button on the top, and then you'll be able to use the download button to download an image file, which I will also show you in my live demo. So let's get started. So I'm going to start from scratch. First by selecting the block. I'm going to call this Mr. Wu's tips on infographic. Okay, so I'm going to immediately go to text, add a subtitle, and I'm going to click on this and say something like May, maybe the date. I don't know what you will need to put on here for your assignment. And then I want to choose a background, so I can click on background. I'm going to choose one of these, let's say this one. You can also choose color on your own. I want to use this background, however the text is now too dark to see with a dark background, so I'm going to click on it, use the tools on the top. This one says color. I'm going to change it to a white color so it will stand out. And then I will drag the bottom of my block. Again, this is one block to kind of section off my title of my infographic. To make it a little more interesting, I'm going to choose graphic, go to icons, I'm going to look for keyboard. Let's pull this one in. Let's put it right here so it looks like it's dangling off the top. Let's do a mouse. And I'll go ahead and choose this one. Make it look like dangling from the left. This dot up here is how you rotate an image. If you want to make it exactly 90 degrees, I'm going to hold my shift key on my keyboard. You see that it will lock to specific degree. So this is perfectly horizontal. And it will also have it dangle off the side. Again, because they're icons instead of actual images, I can actually change the color of my icon. Let's make this one gray. And let's make the keyboard a lighter color as well. Let's say light. Let's say yellow. That's fine. Okay. And that brings me to the next paragraph. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to delete these question marks by clicking on it. Press the delete key on my keyboard. And I'm going to drag in another text. Instead of just dragging text directly, you actually have these kind of frames for you to drag in. Actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to choose my background first, so I know what color I'm working with on the back, so that when I choose my color, instead of choosing something that's really hard to see, dark blue on dark gray, I can choose something like white, so it's easier to see. And notice when I'm moving this around, there are all these orange lines. These orange lines are telling you that things are aligned together. For example, this one looks like it's centered. If I move it around to the side, you see how it's lining up. It's showing me that if I leave it here, then this text frame is lining up with my title. I can line it up to the edge of my chart. I can line it up to different places. So this means that right now I'm centered with my date, which is good. Actually, let me go back here, make sure I move this to match the center of my title. So when I move this, it will also match the center of everything. And I'll change this to how to make a great infograph. Okay. Notice text is getting a little bit smaller because my frame is limited in space. I'm going to drag the corner to make it a little bit bigger so it will fit, and I will move it back to the middle using my orange line. Okay. So I'm going to write out my first tip. I'm going to use my text frame again. Moving down, there's one that I liked. This one here. So number 1. Again, I'm going to move it so there's an orange line that lined up my 2 graphic. Number 1, use alignment tool. Okay, so when you make an infographic, it's very important that you organize your information visually. So you want to make sure that it's not off by a tiny little bit, because visually that is very, very distracting. You want it to line up perfectly, and by doing so, it gives a sense of flow and organization to your design. Click on this block, drag this up a little bit, and that will be the end of my first visual paragraph. I'll move on to the next one, and I'm going to choose a light color this time. So let's say I'll choose maybe that's fine. This pattern is good. And then I'm going to insert another text. This time I would choose something that is dark because my background is light. I think there's a dark version of this number 1 it's right here, so I can maybe use a red. Let me delete the template. I'm going to move this again, use the orange line to line up to your previous item. You can change this to number 2. And here's my second tip. Use contrasting colors to make your ideas pop. Okay, so it's very important that when you choose colors, since this is a visual information, you want to make it easier for people to read, easy on the eye. So I'm going to double click this because it's a little bit small. I'm going to do a line break. So I'm going to come to right in front of 2 in the middle of my line and press enter. And the way the frame works, it will allow me to use bigger fonts without me dragging the size around. And I'll leave it with just that. I'll just give you these 2 tips for now. And I'm going to drag this so it fits nicely. Okay, so here we go. Here is my first infographic that I made on Benjamin's account. I'm going to change the name of my infographic. I'll go ahead and write Mr. Wu's tips on infographic. And click save. And I'm all set. I'm ready to share. Okay, so this file is actually saved in Benjamin's account. So if you want to see some of the things on here, you can actually ask Benjamin to show you this file that's actually saved inside his account. I won't actually delete it, so you can take a look if you want. Just make sure you ask him to log in and look at it when he's there. So I can preview this. So this is what it will look like for viewers who I share it to. And I'm going to go to download. And here I can actually download a copy of this file. So I'm going to click on, again, level up means that these are the versions that you have to pay. I think this medium size picture is also free. So I'm going to click on medium, click download. It will take a little bit of time to download this image. And when it's ready, it's downloaded here. So go ahead and click on it. And I'm using a Mac, but it doesn't matter what program you use. Here is now an image of the infographic that I made. Okay, so just like always, whenever every time I teach you how to make presentation or any kind of presentation tool, the goal is to focus on the content. So again, my recommendation for you is that focus on what you want to say. Maybe write out your information and content on the paper first. Put all the content on your page before you start dragging in icons and colors and changing all the formatting. That should come last, so that you're not limited on how much content you put on, because you run out of space on your block. So that's it for this video. Have any questions, ask your teacher. You can email me, but hopefully this gets you started on using this great tool.